In an alternate timeline, Octavia Spencer would be playing Amanda Waller. Specifically one where DC didn't reboot the character to be sexy. Instead, she's in this movie.
I'm sorry, that's on me. The hell are you?
You'd think Cancer, but Capricorn actually Sag Moon, and all kinds of things rising.
That's messed up.
I've never been the biggest fan of Melissa McCarthy. She's another veteran of that improv comedy troupe culture that has taken over Hollywood in the wake of Judd Apatow. Not everything she starred in was great, but it's not terrible either, and that inconsistency means I don't know what to expect when she has a new movie coming out. The thing is, she's been giving her husband, Ben Falcone, work as a director for some of her movies, and those tend to be the worst ones. Tammy, The Boss, Life of the Party, and before this, Superintelligence. And spouse or couple teams can be hit or miss, though a lot more miss than hit. What it says to me is that Ben Falcone can't get any other work as a director unless his wife is the star. You look at his IMDb page and it's mainly just movies with his wife in the starring role. Like if he was directing a movie with Will Ferrell or Amy Poehler in between the stuff with his wife, then he's a working director. But for the most part, anytime he has a directing credit, it's because his wife is the star. Depending on how long you've been following me, I talk about this on the podcast a bunch. I just love me some superheroes. Marvel, DC, Indie. I just love the concept and the stories you can tell with them. I even thought up of my own stories to tell featuring superheroes. So when a movie or show features superheroes, I'm willing to give it a pass for mediocre storytelling and filmmaking. Like I kind of dug The Darkest Minds despite it being a mediocre YA movie. That said, even I have my limits. I couldn't stand Robert Rodriguez's last movie with superhero kids, and honestly, this isn't much better. Like McCarthy and Falcone's other movies, this comedy is so unpolished, as though they literally just went with the first joke that came off the top of their heads. The humor is weak, almost first draft material, and the story doesn't even try to do anything interesting. It's just the usual superhero cliches with no insight on superheroism or what it means to be a hero. It's like no one really cared or gave much of a thought into why they were even doing this. In terms of the story, it's just a basic stockpile of cliches. You've got childhood friends who had a falling out. You have the person who becomes the accidental hero. You have the real villains being behind the scenes the whole time. Someone on the inside is actually a double agent. A third act fight and breakup. There really isn't anything more to this movie or its characters beyond generic tropes and archetypes. At a time where superhero movies and shows are tackling fascism, American imperialism, PTSD, and existentialism, this movie thinks it can skirt by just doing the bare minimum. Now, usually with comedies, a weak story can be made up with the humor. But I've already talked about how the humor is all quarter-baked, not even half-baked. Nowhere near ready for prime time, so that just leaves us stuck with the weak story and generic characters. I think what makes it worse is that there are good actors here. We have Octavia Spencer, Melissa Leo, Jason Bateman, and even the actress who plays Mantis in Guardians of the Galaxy shows up, but they're given nothing to do. Jason Bateman is able to get in some charisma as he plays the romantic interest for McCarthy, but he's so much better than what this movie gives him, and Spencer and Leo are very much slumming it here. Bobby Cannavale is the big bad for this movie, and even as the comedic big bad, he stinks. He feels so miscast, but it could also be that nobody gave him anything to do but spout supervillain cliches. Hell, I didn't even recognize what his powers were in the movie. As far as I knew, his eyes changed color, but apparently he's also got super strength or something. Once again, it's hard to tell because nobody really gave a damn. As I was watching this, I did kind of start to form a theory. McCarthy and Falcone kind of seem like they're in the same boat as Adam Sandler. By that I mean, they make shitty movies, but it's more about getting to hang out and have fun on set. It doesn't matter if the movie is any good, it's a way to get paid to hang out with people that you like. It's not as blatant as Sandler, who just basically exclusively hires his old SNL friends with his production company, but it's just another example of a movie that was probably more fun to make than it was for us to watch. It isn't the worst thing I've seen this year, but it's definitely bottom of the barrel. There's so much better superhero stuff out there. We don't need any of this shit. Until next time, I'm John Bailey, and just because I love superheroes doesn't mean you don't have to try and make something decent.